So as of December 31st, we had 142 active families in Sebastian County. We gained 9 new families. There's 337 children in those families. And so typically what we do is we tell you about the stats on our active families. So just keep that in mind. For example, in 2019, we served 315 families with over 769, I think it was 769 children. But this is the current information on the active families. And we like to look at the greatest needs of our 100 families clients. And so I looked at our areas of crisis and at risk, and so 1s and 2s on our scale of 1 to 5 in the case management system for those of you that participate in that. And the top 3 were financial assistance, employment, and childcare. And so I know we can all kind of say, oh yeah, definitely. And this proves that those remain to be very, very important. If we were to look at the top 3 needs in our area, that's what it comes up consistently with. So I wanted to show you a little bit more than we normally do, and this will help you understand kind of where our families are coming from. The referral type, which is the far right little pie chart, 49% of our families are referred from DCFS. So we get a lot of DCFS cases. Those could be there where the children are in they're home with the parents still, or it could be that the children have been placed in foster care. And you can kind of actually see that in the middle pie chart, that 30% of our families have their children are in foster care right now. 20% of our families have already been reunited. And this is just our active families, remember, and their case has been closed, but we continue to work with those families. 21% are preventative, which means they have no case, but they are struggling and we want to help them. And the rest are protective services cases where the children are in the home. Now, STEPS also sends lots and lots of families. They don't just send them, they actually case manage them. And so 34% were they weren't sent by DCFS, but from being in parenting classes and things like that, they learned about the program through that way. So you can see the other sources of referral types: community rescue mission, nonprofits, schools, court. We get a lot of referrals from so many sources that we couldn't just list them all out, but they are good sources of referrals. You can see on the far left the pie chart as far as primary provider. So the primary provider is the one that kind of makes sure that the client is continuing to receive case management and isn't getting lost in the shuffle of paperwork between referrals. So there's all of the connection team members that are very active. Many of you jump onto the system and just help families, and we tag you whenever we need something, and you're just there to help with your area of expertise. But these guys kind of oversee the case and just make sure that they're working. And so STEPS is a huge partner in this. 38% of our families are case managed by them. Community Rescue Mission, huge partner. They enroll all their families that are at Community Rescue Mission so that they get quality case management, and they get it collaboratively and holistically through partnerships with you. And that's what makes this successful. Restore Hope / United Way, we have 21% of those that we manage. And then Adult Ed has 12% they manage. And we expect that to grow as now that Tasha's working in the jail, and there are so many new programs going on over at the Fort Smith Adult Ed. We are so excited about what they're doing there. So I also wanted to pull some different statistics that we usually don't have because of this topic. So about 85% of our clients, of those 142 active families, we have information on for these 3 areas. So you can kind of keep that in mind as I'm telling you. So it's about 3/4 of our parents that have been put in jail or prison. So it's a very, very high number. 81 of the 120 or so that completed that part of the assessment have been to jail or prison. Another fact that's interesting is the average age is 21. And we had 51, that's of, I'm sorry, I want to clarify that. The average age they were first arrested was 21. So we have people that say they were arrested at 11. I mean, so we have people that said the first time they were arrested was 50. So, but that average ends up being 21. 97 of our parents have smoked marijuana. So that's a good, a lot. And then 32 of our parents, so about 1 out of every 4 of our families have misused prescription medication and told us that. So I feel like that's a pretty high number as far as families with children. These are parents that have misused prescription medication. So I thought those were really interesting facts to bring to you today. As far as intake and outcome, I always like to show you this chart. It's the best way we've figured out how to show you how people move from crisis, which is the bright red, to thriving, which is the blue. So, and in the middle is at risk and stability. So your purple color is stable. And you'll see that at intake, where the needs are for our families as far as the crisis that they're facing. And that crisis means that, I mean, is truly a crisis. For example, in food, and this is lower than normal, by the way. It's usually 1 out of every 4 of our families are in crisis when they come in food, and that has slowly crept down over the last few months. And it's 1 out of every 5 right now that come in to our program without food stamps and without income. And you can see that that's something that we can solve for very quickly as well. We typically can help them at least stabilize in that area by helping them get their documents together and get some food stamps, which for families are pretty substantial right now, since they all get maximum benefits during the pandemic. And you can just kind of see area after area. I'll show you a little chart that gives you a little bit more information about the areas that we've made a lot of significant outcomes and progress. And that is, so the percentage of stable and thriving families increased in the area of transportation from 43% to 59%, and housing from 20% to 43%. So we continue to be able to stabilize families and help them move to thriving in those areas. The percentage of families in crisis also decreases. So that's the give and take we're trying to do here, and that food crisis, which I've already told you about. And then also legal crisis. Our partnerships with Arkansas Legal Services have really, and court resolution team with Brian, have really helped people to not have as many warrants out for their arrest. So hopefully we can help more and more families that way. Housing at intake and housing at income, I just wanted to kind of show you once again how that crisis decreases and how the stable and thriving increases. And so at intake, 80% our families were in crisis or at risk. So they were homeless, or they were in imminent danger of homelessness. They were facing eviction or something like that. And then as of now, it's 57%. So we still have work to do, obviously. So those are 1s, 2s, and 3s, by the way. That's why they're not on the top 3 highest, because sometimes people are just in a little bit of a substandard house. And so we will put them maybe as a 3, or maybe they struggle to pay their rent a little bit. So on that scale, they're not stable yet, but they are. So we still put them at that at risk category. So 20% were stable or thriving at intake, and 43% were stable or thriving. That means they're paying their rent on time. That's so important to our economy, to our families, to their children, so that they can be stable in their communities. And that is my report. I'm going to hand it back over to Heather.